Hi, and welcome back to I read a lot of more books this month. So the reason I'm only holding one book is because I'm in college right now. My move-in vlog will be out next week. I left all of my books at home. Let's just get right into the first book. The first book I read this month was Housemaid, and this book was absolutely insane. It is a 5-star for me. I could not put this book down. I finished it in one whole day. It's one of those psychological thrillers that just draw you in, and there's so many twists and turns and unexpected character twists also. This book was just jaw-dropping. It also made me feel sick. I'm like, oh my god, some of the things that people did was disgusting, but I really enjoyed it. There's always something happening, there's a mystery. Just expect the unexpected in this book. Millie, the main character, has a criminal background. She was in prison and she's currently living in her car and she needs a job. So she sees a sign for a woman who wants a housemaid. So she goes over there and the woman is very nice. Nina is the wife and Andrew is the husband, and they have a kid, Cecilia. So she walks in, the house is beautiful and big and everything is super neat and organized, but she still has a wariness that she doesn't really like. She kind of realizes where the wariness is. Up in the attic, there's a small room where she'll be staying with a cot, a small closet, and a window that you can't open, and a door that locks from the outside. This is a little scary, but she needs the job. So she takes it, and the next time she comes in, Nina is freaking crazy. She is a mess. The house is terrible. She's gaslights Millie. Some crazy things keep happening, and then there's a gigantic twist towards the end, and the point of view switches. Everything connects. Everything gets crazier. The end of the book is intense, but this book was just so crazy. It gave me nightmares. If you've read this book, you know what I'm talking about, but it's just crazy in every way, and I really loved it, so I gave it 5 stars. The next book I read is By a Thread, and she wrote one of my favorite books, Things We Never Got Over. I read this book and it wasn't really what I was expecting, so I gave it 3 stars. Don't get me wrong, I still liked it. It was still a cute little rom-com, feel-good kind of book, but it was more sex-driven than what I was looking for, or what I thought it was going to be like. I liked the overall message, which was basically to communicate, tell your truths, accept and love yourself, believe that you can really do anything, never give up. The main characters throughout the whole book, the basic plot was just they wanted to have sex, so it was a little weird. Sometimes scenes were drawn out, but overall I did like the full circle moment at the end, and the little cute moments they had together. Allie is suffering from money problems. She has a lot of jobs. She has a tough past, and it's coming to hurt her in the future now, financially. She's at a pizza place job, and there's this sexy man, of course, on the phone. She's like, sir, you need to get off the phone. This is a no phone zone. And they just keep bickering. They're kind of playfully being mean to each other. She comes out with a pizza, and it says F you written on it. And so he gets her fired from the job. And the guy was on a date. Turns out it was his mother. And her mother was just like, do you need a job? She's like, well, why don't you come look at Label, which is a really high-end dollar magazine company. And so she just gets hired to work at the magazine company because she was rude to her son. But the mom was totally fine with it. She's like, he needed to be humbled. So she goes into her first day at Label, and there is the man himself, whose name is Dom, and he's just like, you need to quit. What are you doing here? They continue to get on each other's nerves and bicker all the time, but it slowly, well, I wouldn't say slowly, they pretty quickly become attracted to each other, and he just continues to tell her to quit so they can have sex, because it's an employee and a boss situation. It's not necessarily a slow burn either, because they still kind of do stuff. There's also some trauma with Dominic and his dad, who was a former employee at Label. They are really cute together. They have really cute nicknames and little scenes together. The book is pretty cute. It's just very lust-filled. I did like it. It just wasn't one of my favorites, so I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read is Twisted Hate, and this is the 3rd book in the Twisted series, and I really loved this series, but especially this book because it's the first book where the man actually has a personality. Thank you. I love Jules too. She's feisty, badass. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. This is a classic enemies to lovers, forced proximity, family drama, lies, betrayal. Josh and Jules have always hated each other. Josh is Ava's brother and Ava is best friends with Jules. They always kind of bicker and like make fun of each other. They're both really focused on their careers. Josh is going to become a doctor and Jules is going to be a lawyer. Each person has some really major family problems and family trauma that they have to encounter and overcome. Jules has a run-in with an old friend who has blackmail on her, so she has to fix that whole situation, which upsets Josh really badly, and he does some messed up things because of it. I'll just give you a quick quote. Remember when I said I forgive you? I lied. People who read that know what I'm talking about, but that scene was like traumatic even for me. They slowly fall in lust with each other, I'll say. They kind of have an enemies with benefits kind of thing. They keep that for a while, but they're both really focused on their careers, so they don't really want a relationship. That doesn't work for long because they slowly start falling for each other. I really liked their relationship dynamic, like their nicknames for each other. I liked this book. It was kind of long and some scenes were a little like drawn out, and I couldn't believe how fast they forgive and forget everything. But I mean, I guess with the power of love, you can really do anything. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. Next book I read was Twisted Lies. And let me just say, I was so sad when I finished this book because it meant the series was over and I would no longer be reading about the love story of all of these friends. This book, I didn't really know what to rate it. I'm sticking with 4 just because I literally couldn't put it down. This is just as insane and crazy as the others, maybe a little bit more. But let me just say, Christian, the main character, is freaking crazy. He is insane. He does some really bad, messed up things that I cannot like forgive him for. If I dated him, I'd be so scared. I don't even want to know all the things he's done because that's just terrifying. He was just so possessive and he was kind of a stalker. Stella, on the other hand, the other main character, she is definitely the most relatable character to me. I guess together they kind of balance each other. It's sort of sunshine and grumpy trope. It's kind of forced proximity, it's a mystery, it's a thriller, it's a slow burn, and I mean a slow burn. Nothing ever happens until page 300. It also has fake dating in it. Stella is an influencer on Instagram and she's working at a job and she gets fired from it, and then she soon finds her dream job. She's just really passionate about her work. So she had a stalker for a while, but he kind of disappeared, and so she didn't really have to worry about him until at one point he comes back and she is terrified. Christian is a billionaire, CEO at a security system company. He's your classic powerful, scary boss who doesn't believe in love. He is literally obsessed with Stella, but he doesn't want her or can't have her because he doesn't believe in love and all of that complicated stuff. I noticed the author said a lot the air was electrified or something like that. After like every moment they had together, be like, the air was electrified. I don't know why she said that so much. They first meet when Jules and Stella are looking for an apartment, and he of course owns the apartment, and it's like immediately like sexual tension. Her stalker comes back and like breaks into her apartment, and so Christian comes, saves the day, and he's like, just live with me. They also agree to fake date because Stella needs to hit 1 million followers because she feels like that will help grow her company, and he also needs someone to fake date because he needs someone to take events to or something, but we all know it's because he wants to be with her all the time. A lot of things happen, like crazy things, but the end of course is happy. They change each other and they really help each other grow. The book was like really long, but I couldn't put it down, but I dropped it a few stars just because some of the scenes, like the criminal scenes, are just so disgusting. It did make me really excited to read, so I gave it 4 stars. Next book I read was the anticipated Red, White, and Royal Blue, and this was turned into a movie because it was so popular, and the hype on this book was insane, and I was not impressed. I was just so excited to be done with the book. I could not get into it whatsoever. There were like too many characters. I didn't know like who was talking because it was in third person. It had some good parts. There's like drama with politics and characters, but I don't really know politics like that, so like where people would be like shocked, I was just confused. But I did watch the movie and I really liked the movie. It sort of helped understand the book. Alex is America's first son. His mom is the president. Alex is the classic rebellious kid, extroverted, outgoing. He goes to a wedding, a royal wedding, where he meets Henry, the Prince of Wales. So the author plays off that they're sort of rivals, but I wouldn't really say that they are. In the past, they met and he said something kind of mean to Alex, and that's why he hated him or something. I just didn't really see the trope. At the wedding, they cause a scene and a big old cake falls onto them. The media goes crazy, and so they have to pretend to form a bromance. Like they're the best of friends, they always have been, but they always text and email and call, one thing after another. They get together, and I really love all of their moments together. They're so cute, they just fit. So they continue their rendezvous and fall in love. You know, they don't really tell anyone. Sooner or later their relationship gets exposed, which causes their families to go through some crazy things. I feel like if I understood politics, I would understand this book a lot better. Maybe if I reread it, and since I watched the movie, I kind of know the characters better. I can picture them in my head now, but it was just a little boring to me. Only good parts I liked were when Alex and Henry were together. Other than that, it was just okay. So I gave it like 2.5 stars, 3 stars. The next book I read, but it's really a novella, is Fire Girl. And my mom bought this book for us to read when I was in like elementary school, and we never got around to it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna read it. And I gave it 2.5 stars. It's definitely geared towards elementary or middle school kids. The main premise is to be nice and include everyone. Appearances, don't really mean anything. You shouldn't comment on other people negatively. This is told in Tom's perspective. Is his name Tom? I wrote Todd. The main character, Todd, is a 7th grader at a Christian private school, and he's really good friends with this one guy, Jeff, who has some trouble like at home. You don't really learn a lot about it, but you can definitely sense that there's something going on. So one day, the teacher announces that there's a new student coming to school, but she's like, something's a little different about her. She is very badly burned. Her name is Jessica, and all the kids are like really freaked out, like a little scared of her. No one ever really talks or acknowledges Jessica. So one day they get into a prayer circle and Jessica joins, and they have to hold hands, and it's Jeff on one side of her and Todd on the other, and Todd takes her hand, but Jeff will not take her hand whatsoever. He kind of stuffs them in his pockets. I think it's like the next day the teacher asks Todd to take Jessica her homework, so he goes over to her house. And there's like a weird thing with like her parents. Like you think there's gonna be a big mystery behind it, but there's not. Her dad is there, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm the dad. Who else would I be?" And you're just like, what's happening? But ever since he gave her the books, they kind of are better at like talking and hanging out, and they kind of laugh with each other, kind of becoming friends. And he feels like really bad that he should have talked to her earlier. He admits that he was scared of her, but she tells him that he held her hand, and that's got to count for something. And that moment was really sweet. Little gestures like that can go a long way. He just befriended a girl who wasn't like everyone else. I was hoping there to be like a bigger mystery and a different plot. There really wasn't, so the rating goes down, but it's definitely a good book to read if you're a kid. The final book I read this month, I have an actual copy of, and it is The Song of Achilles, and this book is massive everywhere. It is a highly, highly anticipated book, and I finally got my hands on it, and I really, really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. The only thing is the names and the settings are really hard to pronounce just because it's from Greek mythology. This book was really fast-paced, full of action, like battle scenes, a little hint of romance, a hero plot, and like a fated death. The book is in Patroclus. I think that's how you say it. It's in his point of view. And Patroclus was a prince who was exiled because he accidentally killed someone. So he's exiled to this place called Phthia, which is where a bunch of other orphaned boys go. Sooner or later he meets Achilles, who's also in Phthia, and he's like this most powerful Greek in his generation. He is the son of Thetis, who's like this really scary sea goddess, and a legendary king. He's got a like high reputation. They almost immediately become friends and spend a lot of time together. Thetis, Achilles' mom, tells them that the fates have fated that Achilles is going to die. So they're a little on edge, but he soon accepts it and risks it. One night, Thetis steals Achilles away to fight with Chiron. Patroclus wakes up and he's like, where's Achilles? Where is he? Soon enough, he just runs to the woods to go to find him, and Achilles is there waiting for him. And he's like, yay, you came! I've been waiting. And so they both go to train with Chiron. And this story is told over multiple years. They slowly become more intimate, and they kind of have a little relationship with each other, and it's really cute. And then a war erupts, and they ask for specifically Achilles because he is the best fighter. Something very tragically happens at the end, and it was very, very sad. It was just a very fast-paced and a really well-written story, and there was just always something happening. I love the characters when they're together. It's a good book. My roommates are home. These are my roommates. Everyone say hi. With that being said, those are all of the books I read this month. I'll put them all up here. I'm very happy I read them. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.